Whenever you are, Coach.
All right, we're ready.
Stan, one of the big stipulations for you guys with this bye week was kind of getting healthy and getting ready for you. Have you guys gotten any healthier over the bye week?
Yeah, we needed it both physically and mentally. Came late during the course of the season, obviously, but it was well needed. Got some guys feeling better. Some of the nicks and the bangs got cleaned up on some guys who were already available to us. They needed some time off for sure, and our high-low guys like McGee and DMR, who's playing a lot of game reps for us, really needed some time to kind of decompress and, mentally and physically, get some things cleaned up in the weight room, recovery-wise, and it was really good for us. So hopefully it pays off. I believe it will.
And EJ's back?
EJ's back. He's back.
Yeah, so how's he looking? What's his status?
It doesn't look like he skipped a beat. It really doesn't. I mean, he came back in the game in the practice and was ready to go. The timing was still there, the processing was still at a high level, and he's excited. He's been fighting like crazy to get back on the field, and to have him back with the team is, he's back in his comfort zone. So it's really good to have him back.
How valuable did you think the bye week was for the young guys? You've been playing a lot, and how valuable was that for them?
It was really good. We had a chance to hone back in on the base fundamentals and the why to the assignments that we're asking to do within given play calls and things of that sort. So in that way, it was really good. They kind of got thrown into the fire. A lot of guys who were newcomers and had to play right away for us, and it's just bullets flying, things. They're operating, not quite understanding the why of what they're doing, and I think this week was a good opportunity to kind of reel that back and, give them the whys to their job assignments, but most importantly, get back to the fundamentals and the techniques of what we're asking them to do within the assignments was something that we really focused on.
Did EJ return during the bye week or just?
Yeah, he returned during the bye week. Yep, had a good week of practice.
How are you guys emotionally? I know after that loss and heading to the bye week, how do you guys feel on an emotional level during that bye week? And
we're ready for Navy. We're trying to get ready for Navy now. We obviously our players don't like to lose, and that was something that they had to hurry up and flush. We had these games don't stop coming, right? So mentally, like I said, I think the bye week was really good for that, to kind of decompress and reflect a little bit. Kind of look back at some of the old game tape and see the things that we can do better. A lot of fundamental errors showed up in those tapes. So again, that was our focus going into the bye week, and I think emotionally that was good for them to kind of build some confidence of what they can do better and fix it to some degree over the bye week was something that was beneficial for us.
Do his teammates? Does the team feel better just with EJ there? Did you see?
Yeah, I think the offense. It's no question. The offense operates better when he's at that position for us, at the quarterback position for us, and I know Jo is extremely excited, to have him back. Yeah, EJ's back. But no, I think it was something that our team was anticipating. I think behind closed doors, we anticipated the bye week being the time that we would get him back. Again, it's really good to have him back. We operate better when he's at the quarterback position for sure.
Stan, coming into the season, even fall camp, you talked about how one thing you want to take away from last year was how you kind of took care of yourself. Now that we're really far through the season, how do you think you've done on that end?
Okay, not great. These last couple of weeks were tough. I beat myself up. We worked really hard, and we had some high expectations for ourselves, and we're excited about these next 4 opportunities, though, and I'm back in my routine of trying to get some sleep, trying to eat, try to throw a little exercise in there in between. I'm better for the kids when I'm, doing those things. So I had to find a way to force myself to do those things so I can be better for the kids, and I think it was a good bye week for myself as well. I think our coaches needed to decompress a little bit and kind of reflect and self-scout ourselves to some degree and just figure out what we can do better moving forward. So we're excited about the opportunity this week for sure.
How was EJ with Quincy and Forrest the past couple weeks, just when he's not been playing?
Well, how EJ was?
Yeah.
EJ would really have to take care of himself. He was concussed, so he had some restrictions on certain things that he could not do. Really, when you talk in terms of Quincy Patterson, he's a he's a veteran in that room. You know, he's been there before. He's really good for EJ. You know, I mean, they work together very well, but he's really that common force in that room. And, you know, he was also great for Forrest, who had to go in there and take some game reps for us. But, you know, EJ's steady. You know, when he was able to get back in the meetings and lock in on in that respect, you know, I don't think there was, it was kind of, you know, the everyday routine of what they do in that room and, you know, everyday business, you know, nothing kind of, you know, changed in that respect at all.
A couple of things on Navy. You know, they were the only team last year and even this year that's actually sacked EJ more than one time in a game. I think somebody might have knocked the ball loose when he was standing there. Actually, he's never been sacked with like taken to the ground more than one, except Navy with that blitzing stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever they do.
Yeah.
And what did they do that no one else kind of?
Well, they're very complicated. You know, they move around a lot. You know, they're not very big, but they're very quick, and they have, you know, obviously they play to the whistle. They play very, very hard. But they're going to mix it up from a cover standpoint. You know, last year, EJ, you know, being a young study, but a good study, but still a young study, and, you know, changing coverages, moving the secondary around a whole lot can force a young quarterback to hesitate with the football from time to time. They do bring a lot of pressure, you know, so the fronts are constantly moving, and it's coming from outside, it's coming from inside, and, you know, you got to be really sharpened up on your game, and not only does the quarterback have to be sharp, the receivers have to have some kind of awareness that that's going on as well. The backs have got to be really good in that respect, you know. So yeah, they're not a easy defense schematically by any stretch. They're very complicated, and they do a good job over there. They really do.
How about on the offensive side? Have they? Boy, it sure seems like they and Army at times have really been affected by the rule changes.
Yeah.
Harder and have to force them to do some different things.
Well, you know, the one thing they still do a great job of is time of possession. They will still find ways to take time off the clock when they're operating on offense. But yeah, those teams have opened it up and spread it out a little bit more. You know, there is still a option component to their offense, but you got to watch the quarterback throwing the ball down the field from time to time. So it's interesting to watch the evolution of the service teams playing spread concept football. You know, but they're still holding on to that option football that keeps you honest on defense. So it makes you prepare for a whole lot.
With you guys playing Navy this week, can you talk a little about Kevin Smithick, who was in the Marine Corps, and just what you've seen from him?
Yeah, he's just one of those, you know, effort guys. I mean, this team means everything to him. He really does take on the militaristic mindset of, you know, being in a foxhole with his brothers and, you know, not you know, wavering on what his job assignment or what's being asked of him in that respect. So he's a great personality and person to have on this football team, you know, because he's a very loyal player to his teammates, and I think that's something that's very special to have a part of.
You've been around like college football and NFL for years. Like, have you ever seen someone like go into the military and then come back like college football?
I'm trying to think. Yeah, we had Gizzy. I just know him by his nickname, but in Green Bay, you know, Gizzy was a Marine, and he was a safety that played for us in Green Bay. I'm terrible on his name right now. I'm bad on that. But yes, he brought the same, you know, level of commitment, you know, concept of brotherhood to the Green Bay Packers. I mean, once you kind of experience that, I believe, you know, my dad was military. I don't think you ever lose it. You know, I was raised in a family that was kind of brought up that same way because of my dad's experience and my uncle's experience. So, yeah, those are special people to be around. And hey, they're athletes and they're tough guys, you know. So, again, Navy's going to bring that same type of demeanor. You can tell they play together. They're a tight unit. They're all tied to a string, meaning that everybody's really focusing on doing their job for the bigger purpose, and you can really see that in their level of play. You know, so we're excited to play them. It's fun to play those guys.
You mentioned the evolution of the service academies. Can you tell us a little bit about what Army brings to the American and your reaction to them coming in possibly next season or in the future?
You know, I know they're a good football team. You know, they run the ball very well. I haven't had a whole lot of time to study Army, so I wouldn't have you know, no disrespect to Army. I don't have a lot to say about them, but I know those are just dangerous football teams. You know, their lifestyle is all about commitment and discipline. You know, and you know when you're trying to raise a team coming from all different backgrounds that don't have that level of structure over their head, on a daily basis. I mean, you know, you fight for those things on your football team, the discipline piece of it. So, you know, we know that those teams will bring that to the table just by who they are, and that's going to always make them tough competitors.
Is Cam Price still solid with that kicking job, or you know?
He's got to get better. You know, we need. And I know he can do better. You know, we're not, you know, to say that we're giving up, but there is some competition for that position. You know, but we expect a lot more out of him. He expects a lot more out of himself, and you know, we need more production out of that position for sure. Excuse me.
When you play Navy, when they dominate the time of possession, like you said, does that put more pressure on your offense, knowing that you guys basically every possession matters because you don't know really how many times you're gonna get the ball in the game?
Yeah, it's just a total team effort that way. You know, I mean, everybody in the building needs to know that that's the case. You know, that, you know, we've got to create turnovers if we can on defense. Some takeaways would be nice, you know, and, you know, to try to get the defense off the field is a point of emphasis, you know, and offensively, yes, no question about it. You know, whether you're playing fast or, you know, playing under a regular tempo, you have to always keep that in mind. Field position becomes critically important as well. You know, they're going to keep the ball and have success in doing that. You want them to, you know, travel the length of the field if you can help it on special teams. So that's something that has to be, we all have to be aware of that as a football team, not just the offense. I think the whole entire team and coaches need to be aware of that.
And with their quarterback, he got hurt in the game against you guys last year, if I'm not mistaken. What do you guys see from him heading into the game?
I think he's back. I mean, they've played two quarterbacks. You know, he's been in there quite a bit. I believe as a starter most of the season. Last game, I saw the number 2 guy come in there and had some success as well. So we don't know which one's going to show up. We need to prepare for both. They do bring the element to be able to operate whatever they want to run on offense, whether it be option offense or spread concept. Both of those guys are capable of doing it. So we need to prepare for both of them.
You know, 8 games in now. Look at Leighton Jordan's production versus 15 sacks, tackles for losses last year. He's got 1 sack this year. What is it that he hasn't, you know?
You know, that's a great question. I just think that you know, with you know, don't want to keep harping on this, but with the injuries that we've had on the inside, right? You know, being able to apply some pressure in the throw game a year ago allowed him to be what he was, you know, last year, I think. You know, but I don't know. I think Leighton could be playing better, quite honestly. And, you know, we've talked about that as well, eliminating the thought process of, you know, the times that he's playing a little slow or evaluating. You know, he needs to be able to cut it loose. And, you know, now when we bring packages out, I mean, there's one thing about turning the film on from a year ago and seeing all those sacks and trying to get that again next year, the following year, this year, when you have backs that are aware of that, offensive coordinators that are aware of that, and, you know, you get chips, and sometimes he's playing 2-on-1, you know, defense out there trying to get to the quarterback because they know of his pass rush ability. So there's a lot that goes on into that question. But you know, I think that Leto can turn it up a little bit more and provide a little bit more of that. I noticed it in him. He's very capable of doing that, you know, but he does have a little bit of a tougher job because of what he put on film a year ago.
Does any of that have to do, you think, with like the loss of DJ Elliott? I know, like we said, the scheme was like the same basically with the defense, but do you think anything with that has to do, even with Everett Withers there?
No.
How about DeJuan? Right, same position. DeJuan Black is, feel like he's really coming on now.
Yeah, I really do. You know, he's having these last couple games. He's shown up and played with great effort. You know, he's a threat that way as well. You know, so when you can get both of those two guys on the field together, you know, they got to pick and choose. One of them's going to deal with the one-on-one. Some guys, you know, one of them's going to deal with 2-on-1, depending on if they're chipping the back out or not. But, you know, both of those guys are very well capable. You know, we need them both to show up at a high level.
From the wide receiver position, it feels like you guys have been pretty banged up there for a while. How do you feel about Dante and Ahmad coming into the game this week?
I think they're healthy right now. You know, again, the bye week came on time for those guys as well. You know, they were able to recover. We were smart with them in the bye week, didn't put a whole lot of reps on them that way. But mentally, there's no drop off there. You know, but I think that this bye week was really, really good for them. And so I think we'll see a healthy Dante and a healthy Ahmad out there this week.
Yeah, see, is this the first time since, I don't know, beginning of August where, wow, you got to see EJ out there, you get to see all of the receivers that he sort of, you thought
It's
you
been
had
a long
come up
time.
for, yeah.
Yeah, you know, we got Ian Stewart that's back and healthy now, so we hadn't seen him play a whole lot of ball. We're just kind of matriculating him the last couple of games into the game plan, but he's full-fledged in this week as well, so we just got to get all timed up now. Yeah.
You got a couple freshmen who are at the 4-game mark. Powell, Sweeting. I noticed they didn't play against SMU. You've talked about how much fresh rate. Is there still a chance some of these guys are going to stop at 4? Or
No, there's still a chance. You know, we again, we don't operate under the mindset of redshirting. You know, you never know when their number's going to be called, so they're preparing to play every week. You know, and they're in the rotation to make sure that they're ready to play if their number is called. So there's nothing to that piece of it. You know, we're not counting the games, but you know, we are being smart in the sense of if they are ready to play, we're going to play them. If they're not, we got to make sure we don't put them in a bad situation that way.
Is there anything that you've decided to do differently over the bye week to defensively to try to generate more pressure or create more turnovers?
Well, you know, we're playing a different offense, right? You know, so what the option offense forces you to do is remain honest in a lot of respects. Sometimes it may invite us to call more pressures that way. Sometimes it's, you know, we just have to play disciplined gap sound defense. You know, so we have to study what Navy presents and see what's the best way for us to operate on defense that way.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.